from there, I think we just decided that we were better when we stood in solidarity because we had a common goal and we had some common aim. But we put our brains together, and before you know it, the G Circle was founded, which is, it's like a forum when we stand in a circle, gives everybody the opportunity to lead, to speak, to have their voice heard.
Oh, fantastic!
And from there, we kept building on the idea. Basically, it's all organic, It's organic. We built on the idea, and here we are now today, in the estate, in the communities, doing community outreach, doing conflict resolution and mediation between gang members, and we're just growing from strength to strength.
Okay, so you felt a need for this. So based on your G Circle,
yeah,
this then came about that, look, we need to empower the younger ones.
Yeah.
Okay. Were you ever in part of that sort of, because I know people are saying gangs, but is it really gangs or is it really affiliations and having like a tight kind of circle of really loyal friends?
It could be a bit of both, to be honest. I mean, some of the people that come under the umbrella of being in a gang are really just youth that are quite loyal to the area that they grew up, their community.
Yeah.
They've got a really strong sense of community in terms of
protecting it.
But what's happened is their energy has been it's been directed in the wrong way, and they need guidance to show how to deal with that energy, because what we refer to these young men as the warrior class.
The warrior
class.
The warrior class, okay.
So this is the warrior class of our community. These are the young soldiers. Unfortunately, they've been reprogrammed to believe that the war is among themselves, and we need to change that narrative.
Okay. And that's what you guys you're basically doing. You're going out to the streets. So I've seen a few of your videos. The first one I came across was when you went to North London, where the young girl was shot.
Right.
And
Tanisha.
There was, say that again?
Tanisha.
Yes.
Yeah.
And what was the outcome of that? Did you think you reached a lot of people?
Obviously, we've done some follow-ups.
Yeah.
But basically, what it has done is lit a fire in that community for both young and old that realise that there are other ways to be, there are other options. So now when they're looking for, solutions, they're not just thinking about, the government, we need more police and more stop and search. They're more realising that, what, we ourselves as the people have the power to change the destiny of our community, and to really take it back into our hands. It's just reminding people that they have accountability, responsibility, and the ability to change things around them, and not always waiting for a tertiary party to come in and solve things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fantastic. And so far, can you tell me where you've gone, and what the effects have been? One of the videos I said to you yesterday that I saw was a young man that was speaking in Kennington. I think he was almost in tears.
Yeah.
Talking about his brother and what had happened to his brother.
Yeah.
Tell me a little bit about that.
The young man in Kennington, he was just really open with us. He just let the emotion flow, and what he was saying was basically that he doesn't feel like he can even go to the shop at the end of his road, because that road kind of borders on another area. So if his mum sends him to the shop, he cannot go to that shop. He also talked about some of the issues that he'd seen his older brother go through, how it affected people on both sides, how people had died on both sides of the conflict.
Okay.
And he felt like forgiveness was going to be a difficult task, but he didn't think it was impossible. What he did realize was the need to maybe understand that we all shared common enemies. In that case, he was like the police force, which I concur. Like, I understand where he comes from with that perspective, but the importance is that he recognizes the need to, call an end to the violence and, find another way out. And that seems to be the message that a lot of the youngsters, even those that are heavily involved in the gang culture, That's how they feel. They want an exit strategy because most of them, they don't want to be walking, looking over their shoulders, living in fear. That's no way to
Yeah.
live. It's like they're living under siege. They are literally in a war zone, and we need to help them.
Okay, you guys are doing a great job of that. You've been on a few forums as well, and how has that turned out?
I mean, are you talking like the news and stuff like that?
Yeah, because I think they've called you guys to come and speak quite a bit, and
yeah, we've had like I said, we've had quite a big response since the Tottenham, and I mean, it's great as long as it's for the right reasons. We don't mind working alongside certain media outlets.
Okay.
But the issue is we do want to control our own narrative.
Yes.
We have like our own media guy, like content over everything on YouTube.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is somewhere I'd refer everyone to go to. Gang Unite TV is our own YouTube channel. I refer everyone, if you want to find out about gang or guiding a new generation, if you want to find out about us, come directly to us, because what happens is we outsource our information and providers. And this is another thing we do. So we don't get information straight from the communities. We don't get information straight from the horse's mouth. We use tertiary agents, and then they can twist our narratives, change our narratives, sculpt our narratives, and ultimately sculpt the way we see ourselves. And this is something we need to stop. That's why it's great to talk to somebody like you, who's from the community, who understands our issues and has empathy with us. Like, I feel a lot more relaxed speaking to you than I do a Sky News or a BBC News, because I'm always waiting for them to do some clever editing or do something, and
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I love what you're doing. I just want to make sure that there are results at the end of it and it is effective.
Exactly.
And I think it's good that you're getting the young men to talk, because it's important that they are open and that they actually do talk to each other. And I think that young man being open like that, you can feel that so many other young men want to do the same thing, but don't know how to express or show vulnerability. So how do you encourage them to do that with each other? Because you can't, we know that everyone's scared, and that's why they put it on this hard man persona. But really, you're petrified inside.
Yeah. So, I mean, the key is just self-empowerment. We need to allow these individuals, these children, to actually understand the power that they have and the power that their voice and their story has. And I think it's going to just be a snowball effect or a ripple effect once they start seeing more and more people willing to come out and speak. Because we're not asking for people to give information about their personal scenarios. We're not asking anyone to call up or to come out and snitch and point a finger at anyone. Just tell us your own truth.
What's going on with you?
It's very liberating, and I feel like people actually don't need that much encouragement to do it, as long as they can trust the platform and where they're doing it. So if we're in your community and you're surrounded by members of your community, then I feel people do feel a lot more freer to speak about their experience, and it's valued.
I like that. So that's basically what you're trying to do. So with your follower, you also, sorry, go back to one point you mentioned that they don't trust the police.
Yeah.
Why do you think that is? We've known of incidents of police brutality and maybe unnecessary stop and search that hasn't been favorable to us. But sometimes, personally, I think stop and search is a good thing if you've got nothing to hide.
Okay.
But I know that maybe some people might feel victimized because they're like, what's going on? Why? What would you stop me for? But really, if you've got nothing on you.
Can I ask you a question?
Go on.
Have you been stopped and searched before?
No.
Have you ever been on your way to work, on the way to pick up your child, and been stopped in a crowd on a busy high street?
I haven't.
Told to put your hands on the wall.
Maybe so maybe it's the way it's been done then. Because if somebody stops you, I don't know. I'm just saying from my perspective, and I'm sure a lot of people will also say that as well. But yeah, go on.
You'd be busily going about your business.
Yeah.
On your way to work, on the way to pick up your children, on the way to meet a friend, on the way home. Busy from a long day. You're now stopped in public. Yeah? surrounded by what, 3 or 4 police officers. Yeah.
Yeah.
One of them is grabbing your arm, saying, "Oh, for the purpose of blah blah blah."
So it's aggressively stopped. It's not like they stop you and say,
"Oh, just
question you.
They stop you and they say, "Wait there, wait there, wait there."
Yeah.
One might grab your arm. "Can you take your hands out your pockets, please? This is you now as a woman. Can you stop? Can you? All right. Can we have your bag?" And then they take your bag. They're opening the contents of your bag. They're going through. Another one is going through your pocket. Another one is holding your arm as if you're about to run. And then you have people from your community walking past. People from the area you work in walking past. Strangers walking past, looking at you.
To the embarrassment of it.
How does that impact the psyche? Our children are, like I said, they are warriors. They have pride. They're instilled in them. They have pride automatically. And what happens is these little things chip away at their confidence. We've always been questioned about our relationship with the police.
Yeah.
When I was on the BBC, I tried to give them this illustration.
Yeah.
And Victoria Derbyshire felt it necessary to cut me off. So I'm going to try again.
Okay. Go ahead.
Imagine being in an abusive relationship, yeah, with a parent or with a partner who was abusive, yeah. They mistreated you and they abused their I don't know, your trust.
Okay. Yep.
Now imagine me saying to you that maybe it's your fault why that relationship was abusive. Imagine me saying to you that why don't you just give them another chance? Why don't you just give them another try? That's exactly what we keep doing to our community. Every time we keep forcing them to work with somebody that has already been abusive. They have a long history of abuse and a long history of not being held accountable
for their actions. Okay.
Yeah? So let us just discover other options. We've done the police thing. We've tried to work with police time and time again. Community liaison officers, community support officers, blah, blah, blah. Let's discover new options. They say insanity is trying the same thing over and over again and expecting different results. The police in relationship with our community has been tainted and we need to try something new. I'm not saying, oh, no police force.
Yeah.
No. What I'm saying is that ain't the option that we need because we've tried it. Let's discover new things. We can't keep...
And what do you think one of those suggestions could be? What can we try?
It is us policing our own communities, taking back responsibility. We need to go back to times when we ran our own communities. Yeah, most of us come from places, from villages. Yeah, from different countries. We come from villages. We come from places where police are rarely to see. Yeah, some of us originate from such remote places where I don't even know where the police station is, and it does not matter because we govern ourselves. Yeah, we call that village raising a child. They call it jungle justice. We need to understand that they're making it seem primitive to be able to deal with your own issues and civilized to call in a third party to deal with your own conflict. And that doesn't make any sense to me. That is lacking logic.
Okay.
We need to redress that.
So let me try and summarize what I just got from you.
Yeah.
In terms of us policing, maybe we, like you said, start within the community, start within the home of taking responsibility of our own actions, right?
Exactly.
Okay.
And not just a responsibility for our own actions, responsibility for the actions of those around us.
Yeah.
So we need to be accountable. We need to feel like it affects us. We need to feel like it is our issue. Surprisingly, with the amount of youth that are dying and being attacked and the amount of violence in the streets, some people still don't feel like it's their issue, even though it happens on the same estates or the same roads that they live on. They don't see
it as a problem.
That it's going to be their problem. But what will happen is a child that they presume they feel to be innocent, or a member of the public that they assume to be innocent and not part of any of this war or this beef or whatever, they will be injured, they will be killed, and then there'll be a massive outcry of, oh my God, he didn't deserve to die, blah, blah, blah. But what we need to understand is we can't be living cheek by jowl with people that are going through these scenarios and think that somehow it's not going to end up affecting us. It will.
But maybe people just don't know practically what they can do.
I get that. And the more that we are out of practice of learning how to deal with these scenarios, then the less likely it's ever going to take. So we need to start somewhere.
Yeah.
That's what Gang is calling for. Gang Unite, Gang the New Generation is calling for the community to come back into power and in itself. That's what we are calling for.
Okay. Have you managed to get through to some of the gang members? Do you think you've managed to talk to them to kind of change their psyche?
Yeah, we have many ex-gang members and people affiliated with this type of culture that have joined our ranks. Many people have joined our ranks and have seen the possibility for a brighter future for them and their children. We have many youngsters that have heard our message and it seems to have been awoken by a message or a seed has been planted. And that's all we can really hope for at best, is that we planted a seed so that next generation will come to some point of awakening and realization. We got a motto that is like, if we only save one, then the job is done. So.
And how are you ensuring that they're engaged? Because last week we had a few guys in who've turned their lives around. And for them, it was basically ensuring that, okay, they're mentored by somebody, they're working or actively seeking work, and maybe black businesses are taking them on to show them a new skill set or to transfer their skills into something positive. Because I feel that a lot of this is not having direction, not really knowing what to do. So you're kind of left to your own devices and you think you own the streets because that's all you have control of. Is there something you guys are doing to connect and partner up with other people?
Yeah, we're in talks with some organizations, and we're aware of some organizations that offer mentoring and things of that nature. And what we try to do is we encourage these people to also come out with us as well.
Okay.
And what you often don't see on the camera is the aftercare that goes into when we've been speaking to some of these young people, the numbers, the reach outs, the offers that we have available. Most of the people that come out with us actually are part of some organization or another. And
okay.
So like from the moment that we touch your area, we have routes for further work. You know what I mean? And we also encourage anybody. That is actually, here's our message, to get in contact with us, to stay in contact with us. We exchange numbers and we try to build on these relationships and point people in the right direction. So, like for instance, the young man that you spoke about in Kenton has already, been contacted by some of our guys. Had a lot of communication. Is now using the gym with one of our members. And this is something positive for him. And his friends are seeing the ripple effect of him being open and honest about his scenario and how he feels, him being vulnerable. They're seeing the ripple effect of it. They're seeing the acclaim. People are stopping people in the road. I've seen this, I've seen that. So it's actually boosting up their self-esteem for doing something positive.
Fantastic.
And being outspoken. So, but yeah, so what we are definitely building on right now is how to continue the service and keep it rolling out well after we are gone. Do you know what I mean? But we do keep contact with everyone we speak to, and that is just definitely part of what we're doing.
Okay, fantastic. It'll be great to see some testimonials. Yeah. To see, guys who have, part of what you're doing and changing their mindset. But yeah, I think it's a great initiative, and I do pray that it's effective. And it takes a lot of work to start something.
Yeah.
So, and to be consistent with it. So kudos to you guys, and well done for, I guess, trying to champion the cause.
Oh, well, thank you. But like all of us, we don't really need any thanks or anything like that.
Okay.
Appreciate the platform that you've given us a chance. Can I just say that today at 2 p.m. we're going to be meeting outside of South Kilburn Tube Station. And we're going to be doing community outreach and a G-Walk in the west and northwest area. So everybody, if you're free, come down, meet us from about 2. We'll be setting off around 3:30, and we'll be in the area for the rest of the day. So, try and tune into us, tune into Gang Unite TV, YouTube and Instagram, and stay in touch with anybody that knows what's going on, and come out and meet us, because come out and meet us and join us. It's for the community, by the community. Everyone has a vested interest, so just come out.
Fantastic. Thank you, Jedi.
Oh, thank you so much.
It was great speaking to you, and we'll try and connect after this somehow.
Yeah, great. That's great.
Yeah, great stuff. Have a great day. Enjoy.
Thank you. Big up Dexter as well, yeah? That's my brethren. He shouts me out, yeah?
All right, okay. Bye.
All right, bye.
The Discourse on ABN Radio, engaging our community with discerning conversation.
Join me, Esther Elade, on The Discourse, where we will be redefining perspectives with authentic analysis.
Join The Discourse from 7 a.m. to 10 a.m. on ABN Radio.
This Friday and every Friday on ABN Radio, London's Afropolitan radio station. Wondering where we are off to? Well, from the 1st of May 2018, ABN TV will be moving from Sky Channel 235 to Sky Channel 195. ABN TV, your favorite black broadcaster. Tune in to the new ABN Breakfast Show from 7 a.m. to 11 a.m. The London City Show has evolved into an all-new breakfast show with sizzling slices of juicy, newsy current affairs served with junior jumbo-sized convos on issues you should be aware of. What did I just say? The ABN Breakfast Show, the Afropolitan breakfast you can't afford to miss.
Consider that life wasted. Consider the heart of the family ripped apart. Consider the potential never realized. Are these the things you consider when you carry a knife? It's not about street cred or respect. It's about staying alive. Drop that knife and save a life. Gwenton Slowly, supporting all family and young people.
You're listening to ABN, the Discourse Show with me, Esther Elade, this morning, Friday, the 13th of April. So we're talking to people who are doing or championing grassroots stuff within a community to try and solve this crime issue that we're having. I've got Dexter in the studio with me now, Mr. Big Blue or something. What is it?
Big Bad Blue,
Mr. Big
Mr.
He doesn't even look like
Mr. LP,
okay.
the people's hero.
Okay. He doesn't look bad at all.
None at all.
It's not blue. But yeah, we've got a caller, so let's just take the call and then we'll go straight to you. Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning.
Hi.
Hiya.
You're live on ABN.
Hi, this is Collar speaking.
Hi, Collar. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. I'm good. How are you?
I'm good, thank you.
So I've just been listening to, I think, is that the guy from Gang that was...
Yeah, Jedi.
Which makes some very good points. You know, I think as young black men, especially growing up in London, we have more of an insight into this sort of youth culture that is... this new sort of youth culture that is starting to come about. Now, a couple of things I want to say is that, you know, I have a 17-year-old son, you know, so he's right in the midst of it. So he tells me things, and we sort of compare notes from when I was a young person to how he is now. And when I was younger, and I've said this to many of my friends, a lot of people point the finger at the parents, but when I was younger, my mum used to work as a nurse or a midwife, and she used to work from 7 p.m. till 7 a.m. every single day. So from 7 p.m., so let's say from 7 p.m. till 6:30 a.m., the world was my oyster. I could do whatever I want. I could go wherever I wanted to do and do whatever I want, as long as I'm back home before 6:30. My mum's out there working, trying to put a roof over my head, you know, and keep us sheltered. Meanwhile, we were out there on the street. Now, that is how it is for a lot of these young people. Most of them come from single-parent households, or they come from households where the father's just not around. Maybe he's away, maybe he's in prison, maybe he's out of the country, and all these different factors. Not just that's just one factor. The other factors, when I was younger, yes, there was knife crime that went on, but it wasn't as widespread as it is now. And I think the reason being is because there's now this culture of these postcodes. These gangs have got into smaller and smaller and smaller groups. When I was younger, it would be a certain area versus another area. I grew up in an area called Newham in Beckton, and even then, it was like, if you were in Newham, then it was like one whole area. But nowadays, you've got people saying that they're...
So within Newham, it's now divided.
It's divided.
Dexter, can you relate to that? Is that...
Yeah, I mean, when I grew up, it was basically mainly, say, Brixton and Peckham, who had grievances and stuff. And now, just within Brixton, there is more than 10 different gangs.
Gosh.
Yeah, you've got Acre Lane, you've got a road versus, the adjacent road.
But why?
Because I believe it's because we wait for change rather than creating change. Like now, we now think there's a drastic problem. There's been a drastic problem.
There's been a problem.
It's not knife crime which is the problem. The problem is the direction of the youth who's being guided by the older generation.
Okay.
This is the main issue. Before any stabbing, there's issues within our community. And this is where I think we are missing the whole point of when we say the word community, when we say we've got problems, when we say we're looking at the wrong thing of being problems because we're looking at the aftermath. It's just like now we're trying to fix the problem of you stabbing each other today. It's not gonna happen. It's gotta take some time because of the structure which has been indoctrinated from our community for a long time. And this is why I feel a little bit annoyed that people think that is a drastic time now. When I thought there was a drastic time from when I was 21, I'm now 35.
The reason why I'm saying it's a drastic time now is because when I was younger, you could have a one-on-one with somebody.
Yes.
Nowadays, my son is telling me one-on-one don't exist.
They don't, and you know why? Because there's no older person who's ever got two youth and say, put down your knife, you two fight.
What's one-on-one? When you fist fight?
Yeah, you just have a fist fight.
Okay.
Because you know what it is? Today is more about pride than it's ever been. More about pride. What I mean so much about pride is because of also, and I won't want to say this just to use it as a example because I got a lot of strong good points on this, but social media glamorizes certain things which makes you feel that you are smaller than you actually are. So just for instance, someone having more followers than you
makes you feel
believe
insecure.
that, they're better than you. So therefore, that pride thing of actually having a fight and losing, I'm not really going to live with that for the rest of my life. And there's no older generations to making them understand that that's normal. Taking a loss is normal. Losing a fight is normal. But there's no one pushing this on our youth.
Yeah.
There's everybody it's like everybody telling the youth, don't do this, don't do that. But you're not telling the youth what to do. To be honest, even if there are people telling the youth what to do, it's still talking.
Okay.
Children learn from what you do, not what you say.
A lot of it is to do with status as well. There's this whole new status culture whereby everybody wants to be a somebody. So the way my son explained it to me is like, you have to do something. So first of all, you're part, when you're going to school, if you want to be part of the cool kids, the cool ones are all the guys that the girls like are the ones who are inverted commas hood. The ones that don't really care, don't really go to school, hang around in gangs and they carry.
And sorry to cut you, but wouldn't you believe that's to do with majority of people who glamorize it?
But those are the same people who glamorize it.
No, the older generation glamorize it.
You know what? I think we point this thing at the old generation too much. This younger generation, they're their own generation. They don't look up to anybody. They don't have an older generation.
I don't know if I believe that.
Yeah, and that's because
children learn by you learn by learned behaviours, don't you? You learn by what you see and how people empower you.
In Forest Gate, in Newham, you have kids as old. Okay, if we're talking about the older generation, what these young people between the age of 13 call their elders or the older lot are young boys who are 21, 22.
Yeah, most definitely. And
so
again,
generation, we're talking about 21, 22. So to me, that's not the older generation.
Okay, again, who have those 21 and 20-year-olds learned from?
These guys have learned from older people, but they've created their own thing. These guys have their own money-making machines. They sell their own thing. They don't.
No, you can't say that. The things they're selling has been around forever.
No, but what I'm saying is that before they would go to their elders, and say and be working underneath their elders. Nowadays, these young 21, 22-year-old boys, they're working for themselves.
Yeah, and why is that?
And doing all these fraud.
Someone's empowered them, right?
Yeah, the reason why they're now working for themselves and thinking, forget the elders and I'll do it myself, because the elders have abused them. The elders hasn't helped them. The elders haven't shown them nothing. They haven't shown them a way. So therefore, they've now taken it upon themselves to believe that they know best, to believe that they're going to do what they want.
That's the new culture that we're dealing with. You know, where
I think you're both saying the same. I think you're kind of saying the same thing. You're saying that the 21-year-olds have learned from the elders. Yeah. Even though
role models. Yeah, basically, it's role models.
If you're 17-year-olds looking up to the 21-year-olds, but they've learned from the older ones who's empower them somehow. And is it true that this is all to do with gang wars, drugs? So older ones, because there was something on the news. So I'm telling you what. Yeah. I as a person,
this is what they're trying to make you believe and stuff.
Yeah, I believe a little bit. This whole new. I tell you what has also been a big player in this. Yeah. Skunk. The growing of skunk. Yeah, it's a fast-making money machine.
No, you can't say it like that then. I was nearly going to be with you because of the actual, maybe the so-called chemicals that are in it that actually change the mindset of a child. But if you're saying the selling of it, that's just the same as selling weed.
No, but wait, let me land. Okay. So I know groups of young boys. I used to be a youth worker for 5 years in Stratford as well. I know groups of young people who, in their own little thing, they have things that they call grow houses, where they have properties of girls that live in, and they all grow their weed in there. Now, these kids, like we're talking about, they're making, on average, 20-odd grand a month.
What?
From doing what they're doing. Yes, they're making hard cash. Yeah. I mean, for the first time in history, I think it was 3 years or 4 years back, the Metropolitan Police came out and said for the first time in history, they can actually say crime pays. Because for every single
first time in history,
crime pays. Yeah.
Crime's always paid.
Every time they take down one of these weed houses, or they find one, another 10 go up. Yeah. So you've got these groups of boys who have got their own team of people. They're selling their own stuff, and they're now clashing with other people from other postcodes. And these are children that probably went to the same.
And again, my brother, that's because to do with no direction. So when I explain the things about no direction, I'm talking about we need to teach our children. Okay, do you want me to say it live that we need to teach our children how to be road people? Because that's what we need to teach them. If you're going to do something and I cannot stop you, I'm going to guide you in the right possible, best possible way to do it. We don't even teach our children how to plug the drugs. We don't teach our children what to say to an older if he's trying to bring you to country. We don't teach the children what to say when you get arrested. You don't teach. So I'm not saying that it's about what we're not, because I will say a lot about what we're not showing them positive, because I'm very positive coming from a very, very, very negative background. But I would also say we are not helping them by showing them how to do road. They don't know the definition of a gangster. They don't know the definition of a rude boy. Like, they are small-time thugs. Like, when we was young, we used to be called scruffians and roughnecks. That's what they are. They're little thugs. They're not gangsters.
They're not gangsters.
So when everybody paints them in this horrible light, like they can't be stopped, I feel like I feel
it's like
so
a self-fulfilling prophecy as well, isn't it? They're just giving them that title.
They're giving them that title, that you lot are ruining our whole world, and like they're kids. And
that's a good point you've made, actually. What is a 14, 15-year-old doing out at a certain time?
Why ain't we running their life? Because why? They will take out a knife on us? Is that what you're trying to say? I don't know. Too many people have turned their backs because don't want to take responsibility. People have too many turn their backs because they don't want to be accounted for, to say, I wasn't there to guide this person. Now they're like this. I don't know what to do. Just own up. Just simple. Because the things that I'm putting in place now is the real word of community. Because guess what? You can't keep saying it's not your child. Because you see, your child, he goes to school with my child. So therefore, if I teach my child some good stuff, and then I've got 3 of your parents who's got children who go to my son's school, your 3 children are going to influence my child. So therefore, your child is my child now. So when I see your child, I'm going to be able to, Ralph, fix your clothes, man.
Yeah.
Or, Ralph, don't talk to a big person like that. The difference is the older generation have stopped doing this. The older generation have stopped inputting in other people's children, let alone their own children. It's a big process. And this is why I have strong feelings on the problem and where it really stems from.
You think it's parenting?
It's just not parenting as well, because parenting need parenting. I've come from places and I understand families, I understand how the world works. And if you go into my background, you go into everything I do, you'll start seeing what I believe in. It's like saying, we say it's the parenting's fault. We haven't seen how that parent grew up. So therefore, she got given bad advice.
Yeah.
Or another thing, when they have a child, as soon as it comes out and they hand your baby to you, do they hand you a notepad?
A guideline.
So therefore, who's to blame? Or we just keep trying to false blame and we're not trying to help the situation?
Okay. We need to go on a quick break, I think. Because, yeah, I don't know. There's a lot to talk about. So you guys have talked about parenting. You've talked about, Cola's talked about people not being accountable. The youth don't look up to us anymore. But I guess it's all about solution. How do we change this mindset? We'll be back after this.
No one plays it better on the radio than us. ABN Radio, home of Afrobeats.
Mixpiration with Bright every Sunday evening from 6 to 8 p.m. is just fun. It's exciting. It's a mix of contemporary R&B and pop gospel music right here on ABN Radio. Enjoy great themes every Sunday evening with Bright on Mixpiration. A blend of great inspiring songs just for your Sunday evening relaxation. Tune in from 6 to 8 p.m. This and every Sunday, they're on ABN Radio, London's Afropolitan radio station. Tune in to the new ABN Breakfast Show from 7 a.m. to 11 a.m. The London City Show has evolved into an all-new breakfast show with sizzling slices of juicy news current affairs served with junior jumbo-sized convos on issues you should be aware of. What did I just say? The ABN Breakfast Show, the Afropolitan breakfast you can't afford to miss.
Consider that life wasted. Consider the heart ripped out of a family. Consider the potential never realized. Are these the things you consider when you carry a knife? It's not about street cred, it's about staying alive. Drop that knife, save your life.
You're listening to The Discourse with me, Esther Elade, and I've got Dexter here, Dexter Sims in the studio with me and Cola on the phone. So we've been going back and forth between the both of you in regards to, I think Cola's saying it's the youth are not accountable anymore. The younger ones are looking up to the 21-year-olds. You're saying the 21-year-olds got it from the older ones, and it's also about parenting. You don't know how I have been parented in terms of how I parent my children. If your children come to my school, more than likely they will influence each other. And that's how we're getting this vicious cycle of what's going on. So you were talking about what you're planning on doing, the initiative you're putting in place.
I do.
What you do, sorry. Yes, what you are doing.
This is what it is. There's a lot of people talking. And there's not a lot of people doing.
Yeah.
A lot.
So explain the process. Because it's a good point. Cola, are you still there?
Yeah.
Okay, it's a good point that Cola's raised that, certain ages looking to 21-year-olds. And what you have in place is a certain age will mentor a certain age. And then from there...
What he just stated... is exactly what I'm about to put in place anyway. Yeah. Which is a older person will mentor 18-year-old. Yeah. Or a 21-year-old. A 21-year-old will mentor 18-year-old. An 18-year-old will mentor a 16-year-old, and a 16-year-old will mentor a 13-year-old. So it's the same solution or same situation that he's explaining, but just on the reverse. So where we're saying we're blaming, say, the 21-year-old because he's the one who taught the youngster. Yeah. No, we need to blame the person above the 21-year-old because we need to teach the 21-year-old so the 20-year-old can teach the 18-year-old so the 18-year-old can teach the 16-year-old. What's happening is that chain of command has been broken a very long time ago, and a lot of people have turned their backs. And not only turned their backs, a lot of people are not willing to be a role model in the community by becoming something or becoming someone. And a lot of people don't know that the background behind my companies that I all run since I've been 21 is my main aim. And this is why I'm happy that I'm able to start displaying it now. My main aim to becoming somebody was just so I can speak to the youth. Because the youth don't listen to nobodies. They listen to top gangsters. They listen to people with money. They listen to rappers. They listen to sport people. They listen to people who they believe in their eyes
have made it.
So
And that's because of the environment they've grown up in.
So what we need to do is indoctrinate the environment that we're in, understand it, and understand that you need to become someone yourself to be able to speak to a youth. You might think because you're an adult, you speak to the youth. As far as I'm concerned, a child will learn from what you show them, not what you tell them. So I've been able to always get through to the youth because I've had different types of companies throughout my whole life. And
so
I've
they see
been a part
results in
of
you.
the street.
Yeah.
I have been a part of this street culture, and I actually still am in that kind of way.
Yeah.
So the difference is they can see that I was part of the streets, but I started music. They can see I was part of the streets, but then I put together a football academy. They can see I was part of the streets, but now I run one of the biggest clothing lines in South London. Do you know? They can see results, so they can believe in Blue. They can believe in Dexter. A person who's just a person, which I'm not putting down a person, is in their eyes. The person who's just a person, you kind of can't tell me nothing.
So do we need more people like you then?
And I don't want to say like me,
but I guess we have to.
More people like you. Because you need our young black princesses to start thinking about...
coming from.
Yeah, we need some of our young black princesses to start knowing that a selfie and an Instagram doesn't make you great.
No.
You're great right now. But then even down to your glasses... A young black female will think, wow, wearing glasses, that's sneaky. And I'll put them off and you start affecting your eyes. You need to see, and that someone needs to explain to them that what you need in life is more better than what you want in life.
Collar, you were going to say something. I didn't hear the point you were trying to make.
No, I was just saying that, first of all, I agree with what you're saying, what Dexter was saying in terms of direction. And these kids need to be directed. And also, I also agree with him saying that these kids, if you're just an adult, they're not going to listen to you. They don't, because you won't understand where they're coming from. You have to understand where they're coming from. You also have to have lived it. When you've lived it and you're telling them stories and stuff that they think to themselves, that you've been there, you've done it. They then look at you in a different light. They then see what you're doing with your life and say, listen, this is what I do legitimately. So you're saying you could, this fast money, you can also make it legitimately.
This way round, yeah.
Give yourself a 5.
Like, do you know what, Collar? Sorry to cut you. Do you know what? I actually try and explain to them how much money we can make off selling T-shirts compared to how much money you can get making drugs. And they say to me, but selling clothes is hard. And I say to them, selling drugs is even harder. But no one's explained that to you. That the people you're meeting are dangerous. That when you're driving with it, it's dangerous. That this and that is... people hasn't give them the in-depth information about it. Yeah.
I said to my son, okay, you see your dad driving a nice car, you see your dad with a nice watch, all these things. But the thing about me is that I'm not a drug dealer. I don't have to look over my back. I have to watch whether someone's coming to rob me, or someone's coming to take this. And that is the joy of living the life the way you do. Now, in terms of parenting, I must say this, because in the same breath, I have a friend who also has a 16-year-old, 17-year-old son, but his son is already in a gang.
Yeah, me too. I have lots of friends like that.
What can I do? And I'm going to say this, there's a lot of parents out there, especially the fathers.
Especially.
Don't really have, especially the fathers, because they've always got the excuse to say, I only see my son every fortnight, or that kind of thing. The most important part of your child's life is when that child is transgressing from primary school to secondary school. Once that child gets in secondary school, you will cease to be their family, and they will find a new family.
Yes.
So you have to make sure at that point when they're going to secondary school, you are part of their lives. You know what friends they're making, who they're making them with, what their friends...
Okay, let me hold you there on that thought. You see, when you say right there, so great, that you need to know as a parent what friends they're making. Like I explained to people, everyone didn't grow up the same. So some of my friends grew up and came to my house and said, rah, when I go Blue's house on a Sunday, it's like Christmas. He's got chicken and roast beef. And I think, rah, that's normal to me. But guess what? It's not normal to him. So therefore, I love my parents for bringing in my friends and making them feel at home, making them feel welcomed. Now, all my friends look up to my parents as big people, respect them, come in the house, say good afternoon, kiss them, you know what I mean? Yeah.
Exactly, Dexter. So that's the point. The parents. So he's come to your house saying, right, this person actually got a family unit. I don't have that. So it all starts from the parent. You know what I mean? My friend was saying to me, I was saying to my friend, look, you only see your son every 2 weeks. And then when you see him every 2 weeks, when he was 10, 11, 12, you want to take him at Nando's. Maybe his mum said he was bad in the week, so you want to
have a word with him.
You know what I mean? At the same time, be a good dad, bad dad for, you know what I mean, 6 hours in a day and then take him back home. I said, for me, it was hard as well because my son, I'm not with the mother, and I used to see him like, you know, every week or every other week.
Me too.
What I used to do, I used to put an alarm on my phone, 5 p.m. every day that says, call son.
Wicked.
And I would just call him just to
That's it there. Extra effort.
What you doing? And that built a relationship.
That's it there, bro. Extra effort. That's well done.
Tiny extra piece goes very long.
It goes very far.
My son's a 17-year-old entrepreneur. He has a business and he has 2 businesses. One by himself and one with his friends.
Yeah, like, great.
They're going places. They're doing things.
Yeah.
So I now use him, and I was actually going to invite him onto the show with Esther as well, so he can talk about what his friends do to try and stay out of that circle, because he grew up in Forest Gate.
And I take it you're close with his friends, right?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, exactly. So for one, we've established you're a positive role model. 2, you've established that you've taken in his friends. And then 3, you've actually made him understand about road and business. And then you've done that every 5 p.m. thing. You've put in some extra work, which is really normal.
Yeah,
but to someone else, it's extra.
It's extra work, and that's why you've got a result.
I'm going to have to get you to. I'm going to have to get you to sum up for me, Kola, because I know we've got.
That's why we were told the parents would do it early, because what happens is these parents, they do it too late. 16, 17,
way too late.
Now trying to be in your child's life is too late.
Yeah.
You're going to have a big, hard, long job on your hands. By the time this kid's 17, they've already made their friends. They already have living their life. They're leaving the house. They're coming on what time, and you can't come and tell them anything because you're never around. You were never there.
Yeah.
As far as they're concerned, just don't talk to me. So for me, it starts, if we can get the parents who have these kids first of all and start instilling them how to speak to their children, how to build relationships with their children, then hopefully we can start,
changing it.
Towards, changing the mindset of these young people, changing the mindset of these parents as well.
Fantastic. Kola, thank you so much for your time. That was good. That was good debate between you guys.
Great. Glad we're speaking to you, mate.
All right.
I'm checking to what you guys are doing as well, man.
Yeah, appreciate it, man. Let's connect, man.
Okay.
Definitely.
Have a good day. Thank you.
You too. Bye-bye.
Bye.
So that was Kola there. Thank you. I've got a text. Someone said, Mullah for mayor.
Hey, Mullah for mayor.
Talk the real. It starts with us. And then the youngsters always think they've got to be more bad than the next generation.
Yeah.
And that was from somebody called LJ. So that's interesting. So I now have Kemi.
Hey.
Hi, Kemi. Come a little bit closer onto the mic. And the young man, what's your name? Jamal, come closer.
Come.
So we've got Kemi here, Kemi Folani, founder of Young People Matters and the author of The Best Help, and also Jamal. Thank you for bringing Jamal. So Jamal is one of the young people you work with, right, Kemi? Yeah. Can I don't know if I can hear you very well. Yeah.
And push it over.
Oh, sorry. Let's start again.
Oh, there we go.
I didn't have the mic on. Sorry, guys. These things happen. Yeah. So we'll start again. I've got Kemi here in the studio with me.
Hey.
Perfect. And Kemi is a founder of Young People Matters and also the author of The Best Help. And she's brought Jamal into the studio. Jamal, I know it's early. Well, it's not really early because you should be up at these times.
That's a good point.
Yes.
It is early, but it's not really what we're trying to do.
Because school starts about 9 o'clock. Yeah. Work will start about 9 o'clock. So we're happy to have you here. Thank you for taking the time out to come and speak to me. Because I felt it was important to talk to people who were doing stuff to change the narrative and also speak to a young person who is going through that process or has gone through the process. So I'd love to hear from you how you're finding Young People Matters and how you got involved with Young People Matters. Don't be shy. We're all family here.
Basically, it was about 10 years ago where I found out about Young People Matter through my god brother, and then I used to go there every week. We used to go to the football pitch, play football, and then that was basically like my second home.
Okay.
I was always there. And then, yeah.
Did you have issues at home? Can you relate to some of the things they were saying in terms of parenting? I want you to be as candid, as open as you can, in terms of your personal experience in the home. What was it like for you at home?
What was it like for me at home? It wasn't the best.
It wasn't the best?
No.
How many brothers and sisters do you have?
A lot.
A lot. How many is a lot?
A lot.
Tell me. Name a number.
About.
I'm going to see if I can beat you to it.
About 9.
I'll come for 12. There's 12 of us.
Oh.
So that is a lot. And your mum was looking after all 9 kids?
No.
Oh, okay.
My dad's got 9 kids.
Okay. But from your mum, from your mum's perspective, were you living with your dad or your mum?
No, my mum.
Are you still living with your mum?
No, sorry about that. No.
Oh, that's okay. That's fine. Okay, so it wasn't so easy for you at home. So is that why you felt you had to be aligned with someone to maybe protect you or whatever?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm going to go on a quick break because we've got to do the news. But when we come back, and I'll give you time to relax a bit more and think about my questions. And then straight after that, we'll come back, okay?
ABN Radio, London's Afropolitan radio station. More news, more information.
The government is waiting for instructions from Donald Trump over Syria. The Labour leader wants a UN-led investigation into last weekend's apparent chemical weapons attack. Yesterday, Theresa May's cabinet backed action before she discussed options with the US president. Our political correspondent Laura Bundock says pressure's growing on the PM to get Parliament's approval.
The trouble is, as time passes and Parliament's due back from its recess on Monday, it's going to make it a lot harder, if there is no action taken over the weekend, for Theresa May to bypass this debate and vote in the Commons.
Hundreds of people have joined the father of a terminally ill toddler to protest outside a hospital in Liverpool against a decision to switch off his life support. Judges agreed with doctors that Alfie Evans' treatment should stop. Labour says it'll refer Jeremy Hunt to the Standards Commissioner over a failure to declare a business interest. The Health Secretary's apologised for what he called honest administrative mistakes over property purchases in Southampton. It's claimed one small glass of wine or pint of beer a day could be enough to shorten your life expectancy. A study found for a 40-year-old it drops by around 6 months if they have 5 or 6 drinks a week. Tracy Parker's from the British Heart Foundation, which funded the research.
What we've got to remember, our guidelines are not targets. For all of us, those people who drink, we should be trying to stay well below that threshold of 14 units.
In sport, Arsenal will be in the draw later for the Europa League semi-finals after surviving a scare last night. Arsene Wenger's side eventually beat CSKA Moscow 6-3 on aggregate. And England have picked up another gold at the Commonwealth Games thanks to diving duo Tom Daley and partner Dan Goodfellow. Meanwhile, Alex Marshall's become Scotland's most successful athlete at the Games in Australia. He's won his 5th gold in bowls. That's the latest. I'm Annie Joyce.
More news, more information. This is ABN Travel News.
This is a travel news now brought to you by Travel for Media. So A3 Clapham High Street, Lambeth. There is a pedestrian crossing that's not working, and this is a signal alert on A3 Clapham High Street, SW4 in both directions. And on A23 Westminster Bridge Road, Lambeth, there is a burst water main alert there at A3 Westminster Bridge Road, southbound approaching the junction of A3 Kennington Road. And A3 Southwark Elephant and Castle between London Road and Newington Causeway. This has been a collapsed manhole. So I think it's all affecting the roundabout leading up to London Bridge, Waterloo, etc. So if you're going up that way along Kennington Road as well, take note. And Piccadilly, Westminster, Half Moon Street, traffic signals under computer control. not under computer control. So there was a signal timing alert at A4 Piccadilly, W1J, all directions at the junction of Half Moon Street. The traffic signals are not under computer control, so there are delays there. Amended early morning. So on the rails now, amended morning early Gatwick Express service from Tuesday the 10th to Friday the 13th of April. Engineering works is taking place. If you're planning on going to Gatwick, make note of that. And on the trains, all undergrounds is good, apart from district line severe delays, and overground was bad, but it's now good service, and Water and City line has been suspended. So if you're making your way to work or anywhere, take note of that. So we're here on the Discourse. That was a travel news brought to you by Travel for Media. We're here on the Discourse. I now have Kemi Folari with me on Young People Matters, and also have a young man, Jerome, who's been talking to me about his life being changed around and how he got involved with Young People Matters. And also Dexter has been in the house. Dexter, Mr. Blue, bad blue, but he's not bad and he doesn't look blue. He's been talking about his mentoring scheme and really laying it down that it comes down to parenting. It starts from the home. I think it's time that we take responsibility. If you're having a child, if you feel a child is not being looked after well or some way, reach out and be that voice of reason, or be that disciplinarian. Oh, somebody help me somewhere out there. But be the one that would discipline that child and help them along the way. And I love the fact that Kemi is doing this in terms of Young People Matters. So Jerome, you were telling me your story in regards to it not being the greatest in the home, and how you kept coming to Young People Matters, and then from there, that's how you got involved with trying to change your life step by step. And was it based on the fact that maybe there wasn't much income in the house? That's what made you go to the streets? Was it things that you wanted that your mum couldn't afford? Like,
it's not that, like, I could get things, but I don't know how to put it, man. It's just...
Be free. Explain, because I'm trying to understand it. I know for me...
Things were fine, but...
You wanted more.
No, not even... I wanted more, but... I just wasn't getting everything that I wanted, innit?
Okay.
And then there's certain things that I would get that I want, and then there's certain things that I wouldn't.
Did you feel that you needed to be associated with or affiliated with people that could maybe protect you? Because I think for me, that was one thing where you would either be bullied or you become the bully. So you kind of needed allies, people that will kind of like be like, okay, she's part of us. You might not have the best of the best, but you can't mess with me. And certain things I'm doing, I'm trying to get myself the latest garms, get myself the latest trainers. Was it kind of like that? I'm trying to understand the mental process. That what would made you want to get into so-called gangs or have allies?
To make money, innit? Everyone likes to make money.
So it's all about money.
Yeah. And I think it's the mindset of some people who's around him who wouldn't make him understand, like what he just said, that sentence.
Yeah.
So get money. Get money what for? No one's explained that.
Yeah.
So the explanation of what do you want in life and what do you need in life hasn't really sunk into the youth. As in, you have 3 pairs of trainers.
Yeah.
You don't need 10.
No.
But
you're probably going to wear one every day anyway. That's what I end up doing.
But we believe and we teach our children from a very young age. From they're 3 years old, we're putting them in these name brands or putting them in 2 different trainers for the one day. So they get used to this way of life. So when they grow up and now you're saying you only can have 1 trainer, they're thinking, huh? Or they're growing up and they're around other people's children. Like I said, it's not always your fault. It's other people's children now. He never had those on yesterday. He's got another one. I want another one. That's what it is. But it's not just saying his parenting was bad. Yeah. Because their parenting was bad. Because it's just a domino effect, innit? It bounces off each other. Yeah. But there's no one really... There's not enough, should I say, not no one. There's not enough people explaining, like, Like, for instance, what I explained in my Mula Motivation sessions. Do you know how much money you want to make for the year? Because if you don't, then you're not going to know how you're going to make that, make that money. It's the same.
I need you to come and coach me.
Well, I'm always open. I'm always free.
Like, how much you want to make this year, Esther?
Yeah, because you can put it there as a number. Yeah. Then you can work it out. So just say you want to make £12,000. We all know there's 12 months in a year. So we just know you need to make £1,000 a month. Then there's 4 weeks and the thing. Then we feel like, how are you going to make £1,000 in 4 weeks? What kind of things are you good at? No one's really broken it down to the T like that for each individual to make them understand how money works.
And when you get that money, it's fast money, Jerome, isn't it? You spend it quickly.
But how do they understand that? Because it's a saying. Even though I know, and you might know as experience, that everything what comes fast goes fast. Yeah. If you want something to last for long, you need to work on it for long. But that's a saying to them. They don't understand. What do you mean? It's money. Money's money. If I got it from working, I'm going to spend it. Yeah. If I got it from the road, I'm going to spend it. That's what they think. But they don't understand the feeling of when you've worked hard for something, you don't want to let go of it that quick. They don't hold that.
Okay, so Jerome, can you tell me about all this turf war stuff that's going on from your understanding? Is that the right term?
Yeah, no, it is still.
Okay.
It's mad, isn't it? Like, alone this year, 55 people died so far, and it's only 4 months in.
Why do you...
Tell her why you think that is. Just to say it, anything.
Oh, man. I partly blame the police as well, man. I'm not even going to lie.
Say it.
I'm not going to lie. Like, I kind of blame them as well. Like, and like most people say it's like drill music and that, but I don't really think it's the drill music, innit?
What I say?
Like, people say drill music influences the young to...
What if I told you all music influences you to do something?
Yeah.
But no one's explained that to you.
No, I heard it all the time still.
Like, as in when you're with a girl, what music do you listen to? I'm just asking. When you're with a girl, for
I'm not going to listen to drill.
What do you listen to? You listen to drill?
No.
But most of the boys do.
Yeah.
That's what I'm explaining. Because no one's explaining to them what music is. Music brings you into a place. Music brings out an emotion in you. So when you're with a girl, you listen to this. When you're with your mum, you listen to this. When you're with your man, then you listen to this. But what they're doing is, I listen to drill. Even the gal is listening to drill. You hear me? So I won't agree with that's the reason. Yeah. But it's another part.
I heard some of the words yesterday, and it's just like, really?
Yeah, really.
I'm not gonna something, stab your son.
Yeah, everything, all of it.
And it's like, really?
Yeah, really. And then the more...
It's angry, it's dark.
Yes, and the more darker it sounds, the more they feel the energy of it.
That's just wrong.
Because that's what music does. But who has explained to the youth what music does? No one.
Okay. So let me put it back on Jerome. And Jerome, what do you think can be done? What's helping you, and what do you think can be done to try and have, for us to have a resolution or solution to what's going on?
I don't even know, like, put down your weapons, innit? Like, cause like,
what would make someone put down their weapons?
People were saying earlier, because I was listening to it on my way here. Yeah. They were talking about back in the days, man, used to fist fight.
Yeah.
Like, it's, like, when I talk to people that's older than me, they'll always say, "Oh, I used to fist fight." Like, no one ever used to get stabbed, and like, it was hardly someone getting stabbed.
Hardly. Very
like,
much. So
when they were saying that, like, I'm thinking, like, right, so what's changed then, like, over the years?
Cowards. That's it. Nearly half of this day and age generation has never had a fight. Never. They don't know what it feels like to get punched in the face. They don't know how they would react. Because as far as I'm concerned, I got my knife. And that makes them bigger than someone else. Just like when in the older generation, for instance, if you've got a gun, it's like that makes you bigger than another person. So that's what automatically makes you win. But it doesn't. It doesn't make you no stronger, no bigger, no better. When you have a fight, even when you lose, you come out a winner. Because man respect that you stood your ground and you fought someone else who's bigger than you or who's badder than you. You just wasn't scared.
But you know what I think it is though? Like, nowadays, like, us young black people, we're not using our potential to the fullest.
Of course not.
You get like, there's certain things out there. There's other things out there, like, cause when I talk to people, they'll say their goal is to take their mum out the hood and that, whatever. No, but
I love that saying.
Do you get that though?
I love that saying because you can tell me one person. Just tell me one person you know that.
No one around me is a millionaire. Do you get it? Like,
exactly.
I'm trying to make bread and that. Like, I'm trying to be a millionaire. No one around me is a millionaire.
You've never spoke to a millionaire.
That's true.
Oh, okay, that's great. Sorry to say that for you.
Okay, that's
but you know what I mean? They
yeah.
say these things, but they don't know or they don't even understand how much £1 million is.
No, hey, still.
And it's not fair on you guys. No one's helping you. It's not fair. Sorry, but carry on.
Yeah.
But like, there's other things out there in the world for like young people, innit? Like, it's not just the ends that can take a man's mum out the hood and whatever. Like, there's other things out there. Like, if you're into hospitality, whatever you want to do, there's other things out there for you, like, to do things, innit?
So would you say Spark Nation's been showing you?
No, yeah, 100%.
In terms of different ways to make money.
Yeah,
positive ways to empower yourself economically.
Ways, yeah, 100%.
Okay, so do you feel you have more of a direction?
Yeah.
And where is that going towards? What are you more passionate about? What do you feel you can do?
I feel comfortable in it when I go in it. Like, I feel like I got God there in it, like that can travel me.
That's good.
But
in terms of your career going forward and whatever you choose, how do you feel? Because what you stated earlier on is that he's now showed you lots of opportunities.
Yeah, you said like in there, like there's people in there that does a bit of everything, like with master degrees, whatever. Like they do doctors. We got doctors in there. That there's people in there with so many like qualifications that are doing so many things. So say someone on the road wanted to get into, say for example, trading or something to make just like money there, like. There's people that do that there, like not just there, but people that do it all over the world.
But what about you?
What about me?
Yeah. What it might take a while, but what are the options you're looking at? Where do you see yourself in the next 5-10 years? Do you see yourself as a doctor, a trader, hospitality? Where do you see
in like
yourself?
The next 5 years, I want to do like something like, you know, like where you can get high class cars for cheap, but they don't really work properly, and you fix them to make the profit.
Look at that.
It's
that's
thinking
amazing.
differently.
Like, that's you saw it straight away.
Yeah.
That's out of the box. I didn't think of that. Do you know what I mean? And I run 5 businesses. That's out of the box.
Don't let him steal your idea now. Let's not talk. Let's not talk too much about it. Yeah.
Changing your thought process.
Yeah.
That's great. Carry on. What else do you want to do in the next 5 years?
I'm not gonna lie. But before I used to want to be a footballer, innit? But
that's what we.
Because that's what you see.
Footballer or music.
Yeah. 100. But
yeah.
Like, it didn't work out for me, innit? So, I decided to fall into something else. So
there you go, fall into something else.
Did it really work?
Did it really work?
Then now here I am now.
You're picking yourself up and now you're getting direction.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
I'm on the move.
You're on the move.
Okay.
That's great.
I'm going to take a quick break and then after that we'll talk to Kemi. But I like that insight. Thank you, Jerome. And then before we end, we'll get you back to kind of summarize for us as well.
Yeah.
It was a well-paying job, respectable, wearing a suit and tie every day. But I drank 24/7. Drank on the way to work, drank at work.
I never could come to terms with admitting that I had an alcohol problem or a pill problem.
I decided to get clean, and so I went to the Narconon program.
Not only did I handle my drug addiction, I completely knew how to live life.
Call Narconon today at 01435 512 460. 01435 512 460.
Tune in to the new ABN Breakfast Show from 7 a.m. to 11 a.m. The London City Show has evolved into an all-new breakfast show with sizzling slices of juicy newsy current affairs served with junior jumbo-sized convos on issues you should be aware of. What did I just say? The ABN Breakfast Show, the Afropolitan breakfast you can't afford to miss.
Consider that life wasted. Consider the heart of the family ripped apart. Consider the potential never realized. Are these the things you consider when you carry a knife? It's not about street cred or respect. It's about staying alive. Drop that knife and save a life. Gwenton Slowly, supporting all family and young people.
ABN Radio, home of Afrobeats.
Okay, so you're listening to ABN Radio with me, Esther Elade, on the Discourse. And this morning we've been talking to people who are championing grassroots initiatives within the community to kind of help change mindset with all the youth crime that's been happening. I thought it was important to get people on board who are actually doing something and who know more about the issue. We just had a young person, Jerome, talk to us about his personal experience and in terms of how he's going through the process of changing his lifestyle and mindset. We've got Mr. Dexter in the house, Dexter Sims, Mr. Blue, Bad Blue, as I keep saying, but he's not bad and he's not in blue. And then we've got Kemi Folari, who is the founder of Young People Matters charity and also the author of the Best Help book. So now I'm going to bring Kemi on. That was Jerome, one of the young people you're currently working with, and you've seen him change and go through the process. Yeah. So tell us a little bit about you. Has this been 10 years, this charity?
11 years.
11 years! Yes, thank you. And Kemi's just early 30s? Yeah. So that means she started this when she was 2021.
22.
22. That is, I'm so proud of you.
Me too.
Because I know the journey, and it's amazing. Because how do you get up and say, you know what, I'm going to do this and I'm going to be consistent with it? And for the last 10 years, you've seen and you've got testimonies to prove that what you're doing is actually helping. What was it that made you want to do this?
So when I was at university, I was working with young people in an estate in Kingston, and I always wanted to work with black kids because a lot of my time at uni was working with white children. Yeah. So I went and did some volunteering, and it was just seeing that there wasn't enough happening within the community. And at the time, it was kind of new, not new in that sense. Yeah. In a space of a week, I think it was like 5 young people had been killed.
Wow.
And the last one was at the top of my road. When I was coming from uni, I saw the police and everything. Yeah. It was just like, I can't wait till I'm older. So I have a scrapbook, I still got it, of ideas of when I was older, what I was going to do with a youth club and have a bus and all these things happening. And then I thought, I can't wait till I'm older. So my plan was when I was 30 and do it then. But I said something needs to be done now. So me and my friend Akiemi, we sat down together.
Hi, Akiemi, yes.
And we said, what could we do? Yeah. So we was discussing stuff, and we started going into schools doing sexual health, because at the time sexual health was big in Lambeth in terms of it was very high. Yeah. And then from there we did a project which kind of showed me the need. So I was working for ISSP at the time.
What is ISSP?
It's the Intense Supervision Program for offenders. Yeah. And I was like, okay, I was doing that part-time as a project worker in Croydon. And then we thought, right, let's put on a project for young people. So we did a holiday program, and for 2 weeks, we had 2 weeks worth of promotion, and then we had like 55 young people sign up. And it was like, wow, there is a need within this community. And young people, we took them Fort Park, took them all different trips. But for me, what stood out was they were like, what's Fort Park? Okay. And where I was working in Kingston, we used to go all the time. There'd be a big coach, and young people wouldn't even turn up. It would be like, wow. But then when I came to where I was living, they hadn't been then. It was like, the best I could explain it was like a big fun fair. Yeah. And then they went, and it was really good. And from then I thought, all right, I'm going to leave my job and do this full time. Wow. And it kind of just went on from there, meeting people. They opened doors, gave them a building. Then we started working in Stockwell, working with the young people there, and we just kind of built from there. So first of all, it's a youth club. Then we started doing after school club, was homework clubs for kids who spoke English as a second language. Okay. And then now we have 5 after school clubs across Lambeth. Oh wow. And it just kind of built from there. But the main thing that keeps me going is the relationships that you have with the young people. So I've known Jamal since the start of it. So watching him when he was glasses and to like now and having pictures of them from when
how
they were
old is Jamal now?
16, 17.
Okay.
17.
Okay.
So from when they were young, and you've got all the pictures that they don't like us bringing out from when they were younger to them now, and just seeing their growth or seeing the challenges that they go through and seeing where they are now. So for me, seeing him become a Christian and seeing the difference it's made in the last few months, even when he's coming in and he's saying, yeah, I'm fasting. And I'm like, and he'd be like, yeah, I've got to go and pray now. And I'd be like, I can't even fast 3 hours. But for me, that was just like, oh, wow, like he's doing the whole day. When I'm asked to fast, I might do a certain period of time. I'm like, I need to
break at 3.
And he went from morning till 6. I was like, that really spoke to me when I was like, wow, like, I need to push myself a bit more. And that's the thing, you can learn from the youngers and we can show them different things. And, you know, with all that's happening, yes, it starts within the home, but when the home can't parent, then we need to pick up.
I love that. When the home can't parent, we need to pick up.
Because sometimes, you know, hurt people.
That's what
if you come from broken homes when you were younger, you didn't know any better, then you're going to just do the cycle again. And then we put our fingers and said, you should parent. But who tells them how to parent? You're not given a manual when you have a baby of this is what you do. So you do trial and error. Some of us try to say, I'm not going to do what my mum done. I'm going to do it my own way. And then you realise actually some of the things your mum was teaching you was good. But at the time you didn't really understand it and take it in. So I think if just looking at his experience, I think it's being around people who are positive. And there's a lot of people for him to aspire to be like. So the message isn't negative. It's like, yeah, you can do something. Because a lot of these young boys, when you get them one-on-one, they're different to how they portray to be out there. And my thing is kind of going back to the roots. Why do we want money and nice clothes? So people can look at you. When they look at you, what does that mean? It gives you a sense of, yeah, I'm somebody. So then there's that sense of young people wanting to belong, wanting to feel valued. So you're not getting that in the home. If your parents ain't teaching you that actually it's not what's the labels on your back that makes you who you are, but who you are. Knowing that, you know, I am Kemi or I am Dexter or I am Jamal. Knowing who you are. And something like I went to Mordecai's event yesterday, and he said something like, who are you? He said it's about knowing what you like, knowing what you want, and when you go into a room, you know, that's me. And that's what I left with, like, yeah, who are you and what do you like and what don't you like? And actually, if you don't want to do something, don't do it. But we're not taught that when we're growing up, so we follow the crowd, and everyone wants to belong. So for me, like when I did my first dissertation,
or should you say, everyone don't want to be the one not fitting in. We all want to belong naturally, whether it's belong to our family, whether it belong to a friendship group. That isn't necessarily negative. Not many of us want to stand alone. We were born to be a part of something. We wasn't born to be alone. So it's that thing of, okay, how can we make young people feel a part of something? And that's what I think the church is for Jamal at the moment, is he's a part of something, that someone's caring about you, someone's looking out for your well-being. If they don't see you, they're going to call you. It's like a family. And that's for me what a gang is for some young people, is a family.
For me. And it's easy for them to do that.
That's why they use it and manipulate the children. And that's why I was saying earlier on about when he was saying they're learning from the 21-year-olds.
Who are the 21-year-olds learning from?
Do you know what I mean? And it's like, well, you know what? That's why they've broken loose. Because I know you're abusing me. And not like hitting me. You're abusing me. You're taking advantage. You're taking advantage. You're thinking, because you give me £100, I must just go and do now. No. And they haven't realised that you're not showing me nothing positive, but they're just saying, you don't really help me. And you know what? I ain't listening no more. And that's where it goes wrong, right there.
Let's take it back to the police, because we had Jedi from Gang, Kemi, and earlier on he spoke about there's a mistrust. It's about being in sort of like he explained it, an abusive relationship where somebody abuses you once or twice, you don't trust them anymore. And that's what's probably happened with the youth and the police, that the police have abused their authority, taken advantage in certain ways in terms of stop and search, and then from there the kids are not able, they don't feel that they can trust the police force, if that makes sense. I've got a tweet from someone, Afwa, actually, I shouldn't say someone, one of our presenters here on the Morning Drive show. She said, in an ideal world, it would be, but the reality is that with limited police resources and stereotypical mindset, the likelihood is the bias for who to stop and search could be biased against certain ethnic groups, that it's a very sensitive topic. So if you've got limited police resources anyway, And then you have police forces who we think maybe are biased. They've got stereotypes of who they think are deviants.
So when you say that right there, they've got stereotypes.
Yes.
Do you have stereotypes?
I don't personally, no. But then it's easy for me to say that, but we all have this unconscious bias.
That if four black boys are standing outside a chicken shop and smoking weed with hoods on, what do you think they are?
I honestly, I would say they're deviants. I would look at them as, what's going on here? Depending on what time. There are times, actually, I've actually put myself out and said, you guys need to stop that.
So you're good. But everyone else.
Sometimes I wouldn't.
Yes.
Because I'm scared of what the effects will be.
So, going back to the point of the question about the police being biased.
Yeah.
We're putting ourselves in this situation. How can we expect police not to stop us when
if
we're
you're
out
looking
at this
a
time?
certain way?
Like he asked you earlier on.
Yeah.
Have you ever been stopped and searched?
No.
And you said no. Why do you think that is? Because you don't put yourself in that situation, because you don't dress a certain way, because you don't be around a certain area, because you're not out at a certain time. We are biased. This is what we are. When we say the police, this is what I said from a little while ago, you know, that a lot of people might not like the things I'm going to say when I get live, because I'm not biased. I understand about a community. So therefore, when we are saying that the police only stop and search young black children, where do we live? Do we live in Scotland? Do we live somewhere where there's predominantly white people? Or do we live somewhere where there's predominantly black people? So majority of people that you see are black. Okay, let me ask you as a person. On a day-to-day, week-to-week, month-to-month, do you see majority black boys in hoods somewhere, or do you see some white boys? I guess
it's where I live.
It's where you live. It's just,
so I don't.
So why are we acting? So you don't. Okay, so where you live then? So you might live somewhere. Okay, that's an example. It's where you live. You don't see a lot of black.
I don't, because it's more family where I live. I was saying Wandsworth. So for me, it's like, I guess it's more kind of like a family orientated area. Yeah. But when you go to other areas, maybe if I go to Brixton more, then I see it. But then so I see it as I see it as a culture. That's how young people dress.
Yeah, because when I worked in Kinks,
that's fine. That's how they dress. But
I shouldn't judge them based on how they dress, because that is the culture. You've got your Adidas tracksuit or whatever it is, your Nikes, but you know, trousers down to a certain way. But I can't
how come we're not? For instance, trousers down. That's a new thing that I'm about to bring in. Hashtag pull your pants up. Because how come we as a community are accepting for our children to walk around with their pants down?
But not only black boys do it, white boys do it too.
Yeah, but in general, that's what I say. When I say community, I'm saying everyone who lives in the community. Everyone always thinks the community is just the black people. And this is where they go wrong again. Do you know what I mean? Like, I learned from a lot of my white friends. That's the reason why I'm able to go certain places. That's the reason why I get certain connections. Because I mingle with a lot of different people. Our little young black youth haven't learned that. They haven't learned that. You're going to find some good friends in white people. You're going to find some good links in Asian people. You're going to find a girlfriend who's a rare. But
it's about people.
We're acting the way you are, being that stereotypical type. It's kind of like that. Do you know what I mean? It's like we glorify, and it annoys me, being on Snapchat, just smoking a spliff to the screen.
Do people do that?
Yeah.
Just people do that. Every single little boy does that. They stare in the screen and just smoke weed. Am I lying?
Or show your weed.
He's laughing at me.
You can go on Snapchat right now and you'll see them staring at the screen, smoking.
My world is completely different.
I feel like, wow.
My world is completely, because I don't have children and I don't have younger ones who I would say are like that. A lot of my nieces and nephews are quite grown.
So we would like to know why.
Why what?
Why they're not like that?
I guess maybe it's a community thing, isn't it? I don't know. I always pull my nieces and nephews' trousers up. Because I'm like, you don't look right. I don't like that look on you.
Some parents don't care in our community.
But then also some kids leave their house with it up.
With it up and then pull it down. And then guess what?
And even girls with their school
people in the community don't help that parent by saying pull your pants up. Because guess what? Like what I just said, they say it's not my pick-me, or it's not my child, it's not my problem. But that child is going to your son's school, and your son who's good and keeps his trousers up, and now looking at him, so-called cool kid, and think, I'm not listening to my mum. I'm putting my trousers down like him. So you think he's not your child?
We ran a poll, and it said is stop and search one of the solutions to stopping youth violence?
Yes.
And 40% of people said yes, 20% no, and 40% said not sure.
Yeah. The reason why I believe it is because at the end of the day, we just want the knives off the street. So, okay, let me give you another explanation.
Yeah.
If we was to look at a percentage of people in our community who got stopped, what percentage of them didn't have anything on them?
But I think the thing is, what are they getting when they're stopping and searching? Is it more knives or more drugs?
Whatever it is, they're illegal.
Yeah, so I'm not disputing that, but then obviously, I think stop and search should be good because obviously there's a lot of knives on the streets and you want to pick. And
if you have nothing to hide, then you should be okay.
But when you say that, when they have nothing to hide, like everyone kind of should have nothing to hide, but majority of the youth do have a knife. Majority of the youth do have weed on them. Majority of the youth do have A-class drugs on them. So I kind of can't wrong the police for wanting to stop and search. Right, let me give you an experience. If every time you went to an area, you found £100, would you keep going back to the area?
Of course.
Simple. So every time I go to this little area, Brixton, Loughborough, and I stop someone, I find stuff. Hey, what? I'm going to keep doing it.
Okay, I get it.
There we go.
I don't think that's the only answer. I think it's going to take a lot of different things.
Because I don't think the police can help us.
But then I think, so I understand when people say they don't trust the police, because I had an incident where one of my godchildren, where they were in Croydon, so they were late at night partying.
So late at night, Croydon area.
They were meant to have jumped in a taxi or Uber, but they decided they wanted to take the bus.
There we go.
But then for some reason, a group of boys just came at them.
Yeah.
So they started running. One of their friends got stabbed.
Horrible.
Had to go into hospital. And then the boys tried to alert the police, but the police started searching them. So they were like, but hold on, I haven't done anything wrong. I need help. So for him, it's like, hold on a minute, you see me as everybody else.
Yes.
So I understand that.
You see me as the majority.
Yeah, so I do understand that. And I think there has to be a way where the police has to kind of give people the benefit of the doubt somehow.
We need to just stop being the majority. When we get stopped, let's say at least 40% of us haven't got nothing on us. Now we have a right to stand up and say, we don't deserve getting searched. But the way not finding nothing.
But the way Jedi explained it was like, because I've never experienced it, but the police are quite violent with it.
They are. They're rude with these kids, but the kids are rude with them.
Oh, okay, so you think it's okay?
Come on, we don't. Like I said, it's the upbringing, it's the help. We're not helping our youth understand. Why do you think? Like, my criminal record is like this. It's only because of abuse. I don't have a criminal record, touch wood. Nearly all of my family has been to prison. I haven't been to prison, touch wood. And I have been on the streets. I have been a part of it. People who know me, people know why I got my name, what I got. But what I'm explaining is that who is helping these youth understand that if you just say, yes, sir, 3 bags full, sir, they'll be on their way. If you have a driving license on you, they can't. There's powers that you have on you. When police stop me, I nearly abuse them in the politest way. Like, are you crazy? Are you stopping me? Do you know what I do for this community? You need to go and Google my name. Hey, let me take out my wallet for you and let me show you what I'm about. Yeah. So when I take out my wallet and you see business, and you see a driver license, and you see a business card, and you see, I got a newspaper clipping in my car. How dare you stop me? The difference. Instead of, why are you stopping me for? Because I'm black. Why? Because I got my hood on. Because I'm out on the street. Whoa. What do you expect's going to happen after that? They're going to use their power, which now I say I'm on Jedi's side to say they abuse their power. Yeah. But in the first instance, are we the majority? Let's stop being biased. That's all I say. Let's stop being biased on our own selves. BBC phoned me the other day. They wanted me to come on the news. When they found out that I wasn't part of the gang and I didn't used to carry a knife, they didn't want to interview me. Really? What the problem was there, what I felt was, all right, then cool, I'm going to play your own game. I'm going to find someone who was part of it, and then is doing something positive in my community. Oh, right. I can't think of no one. So therefore we're part of the problem.
And that's the thing at the moment. A lot of BBC and everyone's jumping on the story.
Yeah.
But they're looking at just highlighting the problem and not the solution.
They're not trying to help us. So I said, we don't need BBC, we don't need police, we need us, we need each other, we need Kemi, we need Dexter, we need people who's doing instead of starting groups, talking, gathering, talking. It's not talking. It's not the talking.
I like the point you just raised. I'm going to read something by Levi Roots that was sent round, and I do hope this was by Levi Roots. If not, I apologize in advance. But he said, I'm concerned about the way the media take pride in exposing our bad side. Yeah. This week, every day, Sky News has had a discussion about knife and gun crime. They show the worst pictures of youth in the hoodies and disturbing black images. They always have two guests, one white, one black. The white one always introduces himself as Mr. or Mrs. White, a professor, teacher, business, etc., while the black is almost always introduced as a former gang member. Mr. No or Mrs. No title at all, Winston or Carol Black. I have refused so much requests from these programs. I refuse to play that role. This week alone, I have stayed clear of the TV who wants me to come on and chastise my people. Whenever I'm on telly, I want to appeal to the good kids. Someone has to do that. So don't expect me to use up any opportunity I get any opportunity I get to hold a young person's attention and talk about crime. You're already doing that. So he's saying, I don't want to talk about crime. I want to talk about the good stuff that are happening. I want to help your children.
Has he helped any children?
Yeah. So I want to help your children, your good children, help them to stay away from tiny amounts of die-hearted bad seed by offering them jobs in a restaurant. So he offers job in a restaurant. I can mentor them, give them advice to become self-reliant. When I get the chance to do 17 interviews, I know who I want to target and how I want to do it, which is given valuable advice on how to get a job and stay in it. Not come on social media and chat about how bad they are. Some of you do know what I do. For those who do not know, my style of giving back, put a post out and ask 100 of black businesses which are inspired by my journey and come up to my restaurant and speak to some of the young people working there. They will tell you how grateful they are. Or write to the prisoners and ask them if they want to hear more about crime from me. I don't talk much on them, but my action speaks for it themselves. Hope you get it. Much love. So Levi Ritz is saying, don't call me to come and talk and say, kids are bad, this gang, that gang. Talk to me about how I'm empowering my community. Because I think there is a
Do you know who Levi Ritz is? Do you know who he is? Yeah.
You do?
Do you know what he does? Do you know how he got his money? No. Okay, cool. Because what I'm explaining is just that question is, do you see Levi Hoots as a black hero in our community?
I personally don't.
You don't see him as a hero?
No, not a black hero in our community.
Why?
Because why? Because you went to Dragon's Den and got money from my man, and then now you got sauce in the shop. What do you come back in our community and do?
But he just said he employs people. He gives people jobs. He's giving back, because sometimes you have to help yourself before you can help others.
Yeah, definitely.
And there's this thing of us thinking, oh, you can't go here, you can't go there. But we have to. It's like when you're in Rome, you do as the Romans do. If you don't adapt to the community or opportunities that you have, you're not going to see the other side.
Okay, so what I meant by
I don't think anything wrong with him going to Dragon's Den.
What I meant by that then is that I don't see him. We then, as a community, haven't glorified him enough.
Well, maybe we need to.
There we go.
So maybe we need to touch base with him. Maybe get him into your youth centre. Yes. Get him to teach the children how to, I don't know, sauce up something or whatever. I don't know.
How to cook and how to make a sauce.
And teach them the basics of business. How did he get into this? What is working for him?
But you know what? I think it's different people, different things. Because he could be doing something in the community we know nothing about. We don't know about.
And that is why it's important.
He could be working really hard. Some people could say, I've never heard of young people. Or I haven't heard of certain things. Like different organisations. So there's a lot of people doing things in Lambeth, some who may not have the platform to be seen and known, but they're doing great work.
Yeah.
So sometimes it's easy to say, oh, people ain't doing anything, but something that the guy said before from Gang, like if you help one, that's you're doing something. And that's what we need to look at. Okay, this issue that's happening now, they're a minority. They're not the majority. And out of the 55 deaths, how many were young people? Because you say 55 and we're attaching them all to being young people that have been murdered, but some are over 21, some are which are adults. They're not all children. So it's looking at this issue's been happening for years. I started YPM because of knife crime that was happening. So it's not something new.
Yeah.
At the moment, the media's jumped on it and they're exposing it to be something like we're in crisis, looking at America and we're comparing it. But this has been happening for years and there's many good organisations in Lambeth, in different boroughs doing work to help. And maybe we need to put out that message about young people, success stories, young people that you've helped to turn around their lives,
we need to glorify these
who were gang members and no longer gang members, but we're looking at, okay, all these young people, there's a lot of young people who are finishing school. There's a lot of young people who live on the estates and haven't joined in.
We're not highlighting these things.
But the news is picking up on all the negatives, which then puts fear out into the community.
Which is why some people are saying that maybe there's a hidden agenda.
No, there is.
Because if you're glorifying something,
we need to stop worrying about the government and police and deal with our own community. Glorify Kemi, glorify what we're doing, and then children can see, well, okay, you lot see these kind of people as heroes.
Yeah.
Okay, maybe I should listen to these kind of people.
I'm going to read out a few organisations because I think it's important, like you said, and that's why I've got you guys here
in our community.
So we've got the Reach Society, Manhood Academy Rites of Passage Program for Black Boys, the Origin Rites of Passage Program for Black Boys, Road CEO, Business Acumen and Social Skills for Young Black Men, West Side Young Leaders Academy, West Side Academy again, East Side Youth Leaders Academy, National Association of Black Supplementary School, Black Families Education Support, and Super U Academy. So there's lots and lots and lots.
Why can't we just I think with that is like organisations.
Yeah.
To me, I'm more looking at like what my sister done when made the British Black History book, which is more glorifying Black successful business people, Black successful radio presenters.
Okay,
you know, we have to glorify the positions of our Black business owners or people who's made it and successful, because I'm not going against anyone's organisation because they are trying to help. And this is why I never speak about other people's things. I only speak about what I do. Is that it's going to be difficult for you to make the children come there. Why? Because they cannot see why they should come there. If you are showing them an example of something, they can see why they should follow this kind of life. You're telling me to come to a community. You're telling me to come to a community centre. You're telling me to... We need to show some examples. Like, there's young Black girls right now who want to be Kemi. Why? Because she now released a book. She's been doing YPM for 11 years.
They don't see the graph.
They don't see the
graph. They don't see the hard work behind it.
The difference is we need to start glorifying Kemi, so we can say, I want my daughter to be like Kemi. I don't even care. I'm not trying to make her be like someone American hip-hop. What do you call it? Loving hip-hop people. This is
hold on to that thought. Let's go on a quick break, and then afterwards we'll talk about your book. We'll bring your book into it and talk about how that got inspired.
The Discourse on ABN Radio, engaging our community with discerning conversation.
Join me, Esther Elade, on The Discourse, where we will be redefining perspectives with authentic analysis.
Join The Discourse from 7 a.m. to 10 a.m. on ABN Radio.
This Friday and every Friday on ABN Radio, London's Afropolitan radio station. Tune in to the new ABN Breakfast Show from 7 a.m. to 11 a.m. The London City Show has evolved into an all-new breakfast show with sizzling slices of juicy news current affairs served with junior jumbo-sized convos on issues you should be aware of. What did I just say? The ABN Breakfast Show, the Afropolitan breakfast you can't afford to miss.
Consider that life wasted. Consider the heart ripped out of a family. Consider the potential never realized. Are these the things you consider when you carry a knife? It's not about street cred. It's about staying alive. Drop that knife. Save your life.
Welcome back to The Discourse with me, Esther Elade. And today we've been talking to people who are championing changing youth's mindsets, people who are within a community doing grassroots stuff. We spoke to Jedi earlier on, who was part of Guiding a New Generation gang. We've got Dexter in the house, Mr. Dexter Sims, Mr. Blue, Kemi Folari, founder of Young People Matters and author of the Best Help book, and Jerome, a young person who she's currently working with. And so far we've spoken about the importance of parenting, mentoring, changing mindsets, taking responsibility as well, actually, as a community. So not just letting things, stop being biased. You know, encouraging your children to see the positive sides of things. And if you have the ability to help. Don't overlook and say that's not my problem, because actually it all becomes our problem. Because your child could then be caught up in that person's issues or whatever it is. And we know that children are not always open. They might pretend in the home that everything's okay, but they go outside and find 100%. Allowances. And being young ourselves, I'm sure we can all relate. So now I'm going to get Kemi to talk to us about her book, the Best Help book, and why, how long it's taken. Tell us a bit more.
So I read the Best Help book. Which stands for Holistic Examples of Learnt Practice. And I wrote the book because I wanted to find solutions to helping young people. So I feel that we have enough money, we have enough knowledge, we have enough experience and skills within our community to be able to help young people. And it was going out and finding out from different people, what can we do? So we can't work with young people in isolation. The police have their role, the school have their role, parents have their roles, community groups have their roles, people on the streets have their roles, their friends have their roles. And so I went out and I interviewed people. I interviewed parents, I interviewed teachers, I interviewed MPs to find out from them what they think the solutions were to help young people. So it just looks at all the different areas. So saying, you know, schools is where kids spend like 32 hours a week in schools. It's like their job in a sense for when we go to work. So school has a great influence on young people, and everyone can name that one teacher that stood out to them. They always remember them till today. Like, mine was Miss Okolo. Like, she went the extra mile.
Mine was Miss Abawaji.
If I had a fight at school, she would help me.
Mine was Mr. Phillips until I found out his true colours in my last year.
Who's your teacher?
Still. Yeah, you got 2. That's good.
Yeah, but you always had that one person who you remember. And I think with those teachers, they went the extra mile. It wasn't about just doing your homework, but they cared. And one of the things that came out from this book is about building relationships with young people. So I've worked with young people who outside, that could be seen as the baddest of baddest, but actually they have respect. And when you have relationships with people, they have respect. So though they're doing what they're doing, they won't bring certain things to where you are. Or if you say, look, allow it, they would stop because they have respect for you.
Is that because you have boundaries?
But you have relationships.
You set boundaries.
Relationships. You get to know young people. I can't go into a state.
Down to them.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I can't go to certain estates and say, let me work with young people without building relationships first. Because they'll be like, who are you? And I could be somebody, but it's about relationship and taking the time out to build those relationships with young people and the sense of belonging. So what I try to build is a family. So sometimes when I'm ready, I'll cook up their food, sit around the table, because we don't do that. Many kids don't eat around the table at home. I know I didn't grow up with eating around the table at home. Sunday, but you don't eat around the table. So it's actually bringing that, let's eat together and let's fellowship together. Let's do things together. I play with them. We play fight. They cuss me. They ask me, I ain't got no kids, mate. There's that. But you have that relations with them where they feel comfortable. So the book just looks at what can schools do, solutions, what can community groups do. There's lots of community groups out there doing amazing stuff. And even people who are in the community now thinking, what can I do? Don't just start your own thing. Join what's there already so that we can build on what we have. There needs to be a more collective of what we're doing so that there's a strategy. So even when we go out into the media and we're speaking, there's a strategy that we're speaking from. We're not just everyone speaking, but we're working together. We know what's happening tomorrow. We know that this march is happening. We know this event's happening. And where we can bring in our skills and our support there. So the book just looks at strategies for helping young people. And one of the things with young people is mindset. With us as adults, it's mindset we're talking about. We've got to change our mindset. So how much more the young people? We need to sow seeds, so early intervention, sowing the seeds. Those who have passed it, we need to just support them on that, guiding them, because it's just like if you say someone stops.
You need to give them the tools.
What's the next thing they're going to do? Stop don't be in a gang. Okay, but what are you going to do for me?
Yeah.
I need to sort out housing. I need to sort out business. You need to give me a new environment, new friends. And it's hard for any of us to go into a new environment and don't have friends or
it's like when you start a new job or you start a new school.
The biggest thing to do is change.
Change.
And that's for young people. So the book just looks at all of the different areas, parenting, schools, youth clubs, and at the end it has challenges. It has things that question you, okay, what can you do?
Okay.
How can you support? What could you do with it? Because that's the main question now. You know, when we point, three fingers point back at us. So I would not say parents need to do this, parents need to do that, this people. When someone fails, what can we do? And bringing back that community that...
Don't chastise them, right? Don't, because someone fails, pick them up again. Don't just dismiss them.
Make them understand that failure is great.
It's natural, isn't it?
It's great. You learn. You don't know everything.
Yeah.
So you have to learn from your mistakes, learn from failures. That's why they call it trial and error. You keep trying, you go again, and then you would eventually get it right.
Yeah.
You would eventually be the best. They say practice makes perfect. All these sayings, every saying is real. They never understand that until they're old, like I didn't. But it's finding ways to make them understand. You can't just keep telling them. Because I never heard. And as much as I'm successful, I never heard that when I was little. You must listen or practice make perfect. You're just saying stuff.
But you grew up in a 2-parent family home.
I grew up with both my mum and dad on crack cocaine and heroin.
No way.
There's a big difference about my life where I haven't told everyone.
Oh
but
my
I ain't trying to express that yet because I don't want a violin. I'm going to make it regardless. And I'm 35 and that happened for 27 years of my life. So I know there's no excuse. I know there's nothing to stop you.
Because you spoke about them bringing people in and having dinner on the table, but
at the same time,
they were still high, and they were still able to financially manage in terms. Okay.
I don't want to go into my background yet. It's not yet. I haven't read
do you know what we're gonna do? We'll get you on my program. We'll get you on my TV show. We'll sit down and I can do an Oprah moment.
Yeah, it's gonna come out soon. I'm willing. I'm getting more open. I'm getting more comfortable with speaking about these situations because I need people to start realizing my life wasn't easy. Like, no, I didn't just make it. I was far from a silver spoon boy. I've grinded. Like, I've grinded proper. Like, my CV is so long that I find it difficult to write a bio. Because I don't know what I should include. I don't know. I don't want to just say all this stuff. I don't know.
Yeah.
So it's
Come
crazy.
on, we'll help you with that. We'll get a little summary
We're gonna get
together.
into a summary, exactly.
But yeah, so with your work you're doing, Kemi, how have you seen the improvements or changes in people for the last 10 years that you've been doing this? How has it all changed in terms of policies that surround charities? And because we're hearing about lots of cuts, government cuts, has that affected your charity? There
has been lots of cuts. Back in the days, you could apply for money, you could take kids on big trips, you went skiing, you went here. Now it's a bit like, okay, well, this is what we can do, this is what we can't do. However, it's all about looking at different ways. So we've got an after-school club, which is our business arm of MyPin, which helps to generate income, which then helps to fund other things for young people.
Okay.
So business-minded, social heart. So we're still trying to give free spaces to kids in the after-school club and the holiday camps, but that helps to generate income. And I'm not saying there isn't cuts and it doesn't affect people, but then we need to find new ways. So people have buildings, but they don't have the money. And people have money, but no building. Join together.
Let's connect.
So we need to find different ways of, okay, if there ain't no money, how can we make money? How can we bring money within our community? Because we could sit there and say there's no money, but it doesn't cost to take time to talk to a young person. I do things with young people on the weekend, not because it's part of work, because I enjoy hanging around with some of the young people or the little children and conversating and showing them new things, like going to a restaurant that you've never eaten in before. I take them strata sometimes back in the days younger, and they'll get pizza. I'm like, why are you getting pizza? I'm trying to show you something new. But showing them new things, and I think it's that some of the things that people could do in the community, just get to know your neighbour. So you know what? If something is happening, someone could tell you, like, my neighbour got robbed. We don't really know our neighbour. And my mum saw the door open. I think she knocked and said, oh, is everything okay? And from there, it built that relationship.
Okay.
But before, you knew everyone on your estate.
But you didn't talk to them.
I couldn't walk down the road smoking and someone see you and be like, oh,
I get conked in my head from someone different.
But now you could go out and you could be smoking weed and no one won't say anything.
Your local shopkeeper.
People are scared of kids.
But I know my shopkeeper.
But no one taught the children to respect the local shopkeeper, because you're going to be in and out his shop for the next 5 to 10 years. They just think, let me be rude today. Or if I'm banned to go in there, I just won't go in there. This is your community.
Yeah.
You can't, even if you throw rubbish down outside, you know, your house or something, if someone throws it outside their house who's 3 doors away, you tell them, big man, this is our estate in that, brother.
Look after it.
Like, look after it in that. We have to teach this to the youth. No one is teaching the youth real life. You need to know your neighbours, because your neighbours look out for you.
It's gone so quickly. It always goes so quickly. So I'm going to get you to summarise in 30 seconds. You also, Kemi, and then we'll give Jerome a final kind of summary in terms of, you know, what's happening. So, Dexter.
Take responsibility, people. Take action. Action speaks louder than words. Follow me on my social medias, Mula Motivation. You know, I do my clothing line already, Mula Cake Clothing. I've got a lot happening. Kemi's got a lot happening. We're here for the youth, people. Please reach out. I'm here for the parents. I'm here for the youth. I'm here for our community. Whatever I can do, let me know.
I like the quote, be the change you want to see in the world.
Yeah.
And if we all take responsibility for what we're doing, then we'll start seeing a change, not looking outside for people to do things, but us. So just ask yourself, what's one thing I could do to bring about a change? Whether that's even smile at a young person when you walk down the road. Something small will make a difference. So, yeah.
And then Jerome?
Yeah.
As a young person.
Change is not that deep. Like, if you want to change from the life that you're living, it's not that deep. Because, like, on Sunday when I was at church, 2... rival gang members was on the stage and they made love on the stage. And
great stuff.
Like, they all shook their hand on the stage and that was like, you're my brother now, and that. Like, he even called him up on the stage and told him, rah, boom, this is what man's on now. And then, yeah. But there's so many things that you can do to change your life, and that. Like, it doesn't have to be going to church, but there's other things out there for you.
I love that. Thank you, Jerome. So basically, you just said change is not that deep.
No.
Just get on with it. And I learned today, because not today, this week, you know, just do it. Just do it. Whatever it is you need to do, just get on with it. So I'm going with that. Be the change you want to be. Thank you, Dexter. Thank you, Kemi. Thank you, Jerome. Thank you, Jedi. Thank you, Carla, for calling in. This is The Discourse, and we're here every Friday from 7 a.m. to 10 a.m. Discussing social political issues that affect us as a community. And yeah, I'm going to leave it as... You want to say one quick thing?
Like,
I've got like
youth out there.
1 second. All the youth out there, okay?
Yeah. So basically, like, on Sundays, I would like you lot to come down to just show you, like, the love that you lot can make together as a brother. Like, because you lot are all brothers out there. So if you lot can come down to Vauxhall on Sunday at, I think it's going to be 11.
Okay, I'll just give them a social media answer. I think it's Spat Nation.
Yeah.
He's promoting. I love that the way they all support each other.
100%.
But yeah, so today we'll just round up, and like Kemi said, I'll just say when there's no parenting in the home, when the home can't parent, we need to parent. I love that. So we all need to take responsibility for our community. And that's The Discourse with me, Esther Elade, and we're here every Friday. Good night. Oh, good night. Good afternoon. Thinking it's a night show. Enjoy your weekend. Bye.
ABN Radio, London's Afropolitan Radio.
Intelligence that is not in the public domain will not be made clear to members of Parliament.